Good morning, dear students. Welcome back again with a new session of first lesson of Science 1 Law of Motion. Today we are going to study about Newton's three law of motion. Newton's law of motion. Consider example a static object does not move force sufficient to lift the book and fruits fall from the tree after shaking. Rotation of fan even after the switch is off. All this indicates that the object have certain inertia due to which even the force is not there, still it is moving. This indicates that all objects possess inertia. Newton's first law of motion is also called as law of inertia. Now what is inertia? Every body has a tendency to move from one place to another unless and until some external unbalanced force is not applied. Balanced and unbalanced force. Dear students, in tug of war, force applied to both students are equal. If it is equal, then it is called balanced force. Whereas when force applied and at one side the force is more, then that is called as unbalanced. The force is not equal and therefore it is called as unbalanced. Now, with all these points into consideration, now we can think about Newton's first law of motion. What does Newton's first law of motion states? It states that an object continues to remain at rest or in a state of uniform motion along a straight line unless an external unbalanced force acts on it. Now, what does this statement implies? If any object is on a table, it will remain on the table unless and until some external force is applied. A cycle is in motion, it will continue to be in the motion unless and until some brake is not applied. So, all this gives indication what? That any object, either it is in state of rest or in uniform motion, it will not move or it will not be come at rest unless and until some external unbalanced force is applied. That is nothing but Newton's first law of motion. When an object is at rest or in uniform motion along a straight line, the force acting on them is not zero. It does not mean that when the object is at rest, that force applied is zero. The net force is zero, and therefore the object is at rest. Now, for example, if I'll consider an object on the table, now here two forces are acting. One force is in the upward direction and the force is in the downward direction. Since both the forces are equal in opposite direction, and therefore object is at rest. Newton's second law of motion. The first law of motion, I hope so, with the examples you have understood. All the examples of inertia can be taken as example of Newton's first law of motion. Now, Newton's second law of motion. In order to explain that, certain examples you have to consider. If a two ball is there, plastic and a rubber ball, and if it is thrown at a great height, which would be easy to catch, plastic or rubber ball? Definitely plastic ball because it is light in weight. Same way, if a two ball is thrown at you, one with the slow speed and one with the greater speed, which will be easy to hold? Definitely a ball with a slow speed is easy to hold. So here, two factors, one is mass and one is velocity, plays an important role in order to explain Newton's second law of motion. The effect of one object striking the other objects depend on both mass and velocity. This property is termed as momentum. So what is momentum now? Momentum is defined as the product. Product means here multiplication. So momentum is defined as product of mass and velocity. Here momentum is represented by letter P, mass is represented by letter M, and velocity is represented by letter V. Momentum is defined as a product of mass and velocity. It is a vector quantity. Why it is vector quantity? Just because here one letter is there, V, which implies final velocity, which is also a vector quantity because it depends on the direction as well as on the magnitude, and therefore momentum is a vector quantity. Now we'll move to Newton's second law of motion statement. If you have understood the meaning of momentum, then definitely you can understand the second law of motion. Now, what is the statement of Newton's second law of motion? Rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum. Here momentum implies product of mass and velocity. So, rate of change in momentum is proportional to the applied force. Force capital F. Rate of change in momentum is directly proportional to the applied force, and the change in momentum occurs in the direction of the force. So momentum will always occur in which the force is applied. If you apply the force in right direction, definitely momentum will also be in the right direction, not in the left direction. Suppose m implies mass, u implies initial velocity, v implies final velocity, and f implies applied force in a given direction, and t implies time. Initial momentum will be mu, final momentum will be mv. Rate of change in momentum will be change in momentum. Here momentum is nothing but p upon time. The change in momentum is final momentum minus initial momentum. The final momentum is mv, initial momentum is mu upon t. Here m is common outside the bracket. Uncommon is v minus u upon t. But according to the definition of acceleration, v minus u upon t is nothing but change in velocity per unit time, which is nothing but acceleration. And therefore, it is called as ma. According to second law of motion, rate of change in momentum is directly proportional to the applied force. Therefore, ma is directly proportional to F. If you remove the proportionality sign, therefore F equals to kma. The k is always constant and its value is taken as 1, and therefore F equals to ma. Now, consider two different objects of different masses, and the initial momentum of each of the object is 0. So after the collision, there will be change in momentum. So change in momentum for two different objects of different masses, the change in momentum will always be same. Here, same force is applied in different objects, the change in momentum will also be same. I hope so you have understood the first law of motion, Newton's first law of motion and second law of motion. Now one more topic is remaining out, Newton's third law of motion with a law of conservation of momentum. That will be done next time. Have a great day.